Andy Hallahan organizing a march for gun owners.
Florida law allows us to open carry while traveling to or from a shooting range. So we use this little-known law to march in support of our Second Amendment rights. I'm calling Second Amendment supporters from all across Florida and the country to come and march with us in a show of force. You do not need a concealed carry permit to attend, and the only cost to attend is a $10 range fee that has to be charged for the use of the range. This march is not to advance the open carry rules. It's simply to let the bad guys know that the good guys have these guns. Let the government know that no matter what happens in the election this year, we will not be surrendering our firearms, and letting the terrorists know that these guns are here and they should not be. All right, guys, this is Andy the Gun Guy going live with a special guest tonight. This is a guy that I'm friends with. I admire his patriotism. I admire his audience. I admire everything that he does in this industry. We're live here with Solo Yacker. Welcome, brother.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, if you don't know, my name's Solo Yacker, and I'm just thankful to be on the show, Carry Daily. And it's going to be a good show today. We've got a lot of good stuff to talk about, and it's going to be awesome.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining. For those of you who are just joining, what I want you to do when you jump in is comment your location down below so we know how far these types of posts are going. You know, we love it when we are reaching people all over the country, all over Florida as well. So, you know, comment your location down below. And, you know, if you've got any question for Solo or myself, you know, comment that question as well. We've got a lot to talk about tonight about open carry. You know, as you guys know, I am planning the next open carry march on October 24th, 2020. Charles Anderson says, good evening. Good to see you, brother. So the very first thing that I'd like to do is I just launched a new video today. It's 45 seconds long or so. And I want to show you guys that video advertising that open carry march so that you guys know what we're talking about. You guys can see, you know, how we've done it before. So I'm going to cue that video, but I've got some other videos tonight, a couple of 911 calls to play for you that you're going to get a kick out of, and that sort of thing. So I've got this video ready on my screen. I'm going to hit the screen share button. And those of you who are watching, hit the like and share button on this video. Let people know that we're live. Let people know that we're talking these things through. And take a look at this 45-second intro video.
Andy Hallahan organizing a march for gun owners.
Florida law allows us to open carry while traveling to or from a shooting range. So we use this little-known law to march in support of our Second Amendment rights. I'm calling Second Amendment supporters from all across Florida and the country to come and march with us in a show of force. You do not need a concealed carry permit to attend, and the only cost to attend is a $10 range fee that has to be charged for the use of the range. This march is not to advance the open carry rules. It's simply to let the bad guys know that the good guys have these guns. Let the government know that no matter what happens in the election this year, we will not be surrendering our firearms, and letting the terrorists know that these guns are here and they should not be. Awesome, brother. All right, so we're here live with Solo Yacker. If you're just joining us, he's pretty much the king of open carry in Florida. This guy has been through it all. I know that you can't talk a lot about what happened in Miami, but, you know, because it's all hush-hush with lawyers, but just give us a quick rundown to remind us, you know, exactly kind of what set you on the map here.
It was just an average day of fishing that we've done this before, you know, numerous places, but Miami, that day in Miami was, I hope this guy with the motorcycle goes away. But anyway, we were just at South Point Pier. We just went fishing, like an average day. We'd been there for maybe 30 minutes. We met a park ranger, and then it all went downhill from there pretty much. And then when the police showed up, we had guns pointed at us. And like I said, this is pretty much going back to June of 2018. So this has been going on for quite a while, and you know, it is being litigated right now, but that's about all I can say is that in time, we'll see where it goes. Who knows? It's been a while since it all started. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely can't talk much about it, but it kind of, you know, it opened a lot of our eyes, right? So in Florida, we are allowed to open carry under certain conditions. Okay. The conditions are while hunting, fishing, camping, traveling to or from a shooting range. And recently, because of all of your interactions with law enforcement, you actually had a really great video posted from Audit. I want to play a clip of that to show the doubters out there that don't think it's legal to do what it is that you do and what this open carry march is going to do. Let me just show a clip of that real quick.
Section 3 of Florida Statute 790.25 lists instances where the language of Code 790.053 does not apply, and subsection H of that code states that a person engaged in fishing, camping, or lawful hunting, or going to or returning from a fishing, camping, or lawful hunting expedition may open carry their firearm.
So this is a really interesting point because of the amount of times that you've been out there open carrying. And I know that you've organized some of your own marches, your own fishing trips and things like that with big groups. But, you know, on the average, when you're out there open carrying while you're fishing, according to Florida law, how often would you say you're engaged with law enforcement? Would you say it's 100% of the time, 50%?
I would say it's probably in the 20 to 25 to maybe 33%. And of that, I'd say maybe 10% of it really turns out bad. And, you know, I've had the most interactions I've had are always usually positive. It's just, hey, the one thing that I don't agree with is it's always about the ID, you know, and, you know, it's not that if I was doing something illegal, I get it. But, you know, they go straight for the ID. They're like, we have to run your name. And it's like, you don't have to run my name just because I'm out here doing this. You know, I'm fishing. And those are the, you know, and those are the confrontations. Usually that's how they get a little bit more aggressive, is when I don't want to when I've done nothing wrong and they don't agree on what I'm saying. And it's not that I don't want to give it. I'm willing to give my fishing license because that is part of the law. And that's, you know, I'll give everything, but, you know, but it is what it is.
So that actually was addressed right after. I should have allowed this to play a little bit more. Let me share my screen again and play that portion of it. Take a look at this, guys.
According to the law, Mr. Taylor is well within his rights to open carry while fishing or going to or returning from fishing. And coincidentally enough, the law that allows Mr. Taylor to do so is also the law which allows members of law enforcement to openly carry their weapons as well. Many states, including Florida, have concluded that being in possession of a firearm cannot be the sole justification for police officers to conduct a stop, and merely being in possession of a firearm does not satisfy the reasonable suspicion standard set forth in the Terry versus Ohio case.
So in other words, you know, you just fishing with an AR-15 on is not justification for a law enforcement to stop you and ask for your ID. Am I right?
Basically, because at that, if I was collecting fish, still they would have to, I would have to give my fishing. Hey, calm down over there. I'd give my fishing license, and if my fishing license was invalid, there are penalties for that, and the penalties are usually a summons to court to deal with the judge on how high the fine is. And then once again, we're talking about basic fish. If you're out there harvesting like lobster or certain fish that you need special permits and you don't have those permits, that I've been told on certain sides that it can be an arrestable offense if it is severe enough. And that's where I would say that's, you know, I'm not doing nothing illegal. I'm not going to be brazen enough to take a fish that's a half-inch small just because I'm not, that's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to express it and stay out of jail. And if you give them one reason, and I learned that in Broward, but I tried not to talk about it, but just one little mistake could possibly get you arrested because I don't know, just because of that, it's a hard thing to talk about. You know, I agree with giving up your ID when you've committed like some kind of crime, but to say a fishing ordinance is a crime in itself that's a hard fetch for me. And I'm like, I didn't agree with it, and that's why I challenged the whole thing.
For those of you who aren't aware, Solo Yacker was recently in one of these open carry fishing trips where he was just out fishing. He walked by or did not see a sign completely on the opposite side of the park that said no fishing, and so they tried to arrest him for that stupid no fishing sign that was one spot away from the park, and so that was the one mistake that he was meaning. Now, I have to say that it is important for our viewers to understand. I am pro law enforcement, and I believe that you're pro law enforcement as well, but we're also pro rights. And so in a situation where we're required to give our ID, we understand, we know the law. We're required to give it. Like if we're pulled over at a traffic stop, we've committed a vehicle violation, we hand the ID right away. In fact, we probably hand our license to carry over too, just to alert the officer, even though we're not required by law in the state of Florida, you are not required to let law enforcement know upon contact in a vehicle stop if you are carrying or not. It's up to you. Letting them know up front is a sign of respect, in my opinion, but not something that you're obligated to do. Yeah. However, because we are pro law enforcement, we also need to kind of be pro education of law enforcement, which is often what I feel like this happens. I've seen numerous videos of you, Solo, where you're handing the statutes to the law enforcement officer and you're teaching them. So I do want people to know that we are pro law enforcement, but we're also pro rights. And if we are not engaged in criminal activity, we are not required to if the officer cannot iterate probable cause and suspicion for us committing an act that is illegal, we're not required to give our ID. And I feel that if we do not exercise our rights, those rights can be eroded. Is that kind of what you're in line with? Is that, even though we respect and honor law enforcement, to the point that we hold them accountable, but we are, supportive of the idea. The reason we don't give the idea isn't because we hate law enforcement. It's because it's our right. Right.
You're absolutely right. I am 100% behind. I can say I do respect law enforcement to a point where we have that, and I've had numerous encounters with law enforcement that have gone completely positive. They just showed up. You're fishing. You got your valid fishing license. Yep, here it is. Have a great day. Do you catch anything? And it's a cordial conversation. They go about their day. Usually the person that called is still in the parking lot, and they go and they talk to the people in the parking lot. I've had it happen numerous times. And then same thing with the group settings. There's been numerous times that we did call law enforcement, let them know that we were coming, and they were sitting at the gate, informing people as they walked out, saying, hey, you're going to probably see some guys with some guns. It is lawful. They're out here just expressing it. They're not here to hurt anybody. We've already, and that was at that time, and when I started, was the greatest thing, is that everything that I had done up until Miami, and once again, they were contacted just like we always done. And that one went completely sideways. And it was just so weird how everything prior to that was like, good job, thanks for calling us, we appreciate you, and we had a connection. And that's what I like about law enforcement, is when we can have that connection of respecting my right. I'm here, not here to hurt nobody. Same way with your march, you're not out there to hurt nobody. You're out there just going to the range to go shoot.
That's it. And the reason that we're marching this year, and the reason that we've marched in past years, this is, I think, is the 6th or 7th year we've done this, is because we want law enforcement to understand that, we're not the criminals. Okay. Number one. Number two, we really want the government to know that no matter what happens in this election, okay, whether Biden gets in office or Trump, the guns aren't being given up. Okay. And we can organize. And I know that's kind of a hot topic that, we're going to be gathering people here as kind of a show of force, but we do want the government to take note that people will organize, and that will happen, right? We don't like our rights trampled upon, and the Second Amendment is clear, right? And really the third reason is we want the criminals and the terrorists to know that we're not the people to mess with, and these guns are here and we're trained to deal with it. And of course, letting the country see that 300 people can be in one location with a positive message. We're not white supremacist or racist. Every religion or race or whatever is equally valid to us, but it's that these guns can be here. But you mentioned the phone calls. Okay. I'm lucky enough to, and you guys, I want you guys to go subscribe to Solo Yacker on YouTube. But I'm going to play another one of his YouTube videos where we have a very interesting phone call to 911 where a guy is baffled that nobody's out there. The SWAT team is not coming. Right. So let me play this video and show you how funny this particular interaction and how ignorant this guy was, because he actually makes a statement that I'll pull up after I play it. Here you go.
There are multiple gunmen on the Flagler Bridge off of Okeechobee. Are you aware of this?
Are they actually have guns, or are they?
They actually have guns. There's one. They're one, but they have weapons.
The officers are aware.
They're not concealing. They're open carrying.
Yes, the officers are aware of.
There's one with semi-automatic rifle, which is resembling an AR-15. This is okay.
The officers and the sergeants are aware of this, and they were out there.
Are they toys or they're real?
I don't know, sir. I'm just taking the calls, but I do know that the officers are aware of the men that are out there.
I'm going to pause this. Is this the group that was out there that we're seeing on the screen right now? You're muted. You're muted. Yeah, you're muted, Solo. You're muted.
No, it's not. It's not the group. There was only 8 of us. Yeah. No, it was just 8 of us.
Let me keep playing this for people. Everybody at home, hit the thumbs up button. This is hilarious.
I don't care if it's support of the president or not. That's not safe.
Huh?
That makes me nervous.
Okay. Yes, sir. They are aware of them.
Are they going to do anything about them? Are they going to tell them to please put their guns away?
They were out there earlier with the subject, sir.
All right, and this isn't normal. That's not normal.
Okay,
And,
sir. I'll let the sergeants and the officers aware of it again.
I don't feel safe with them doing that, and neither should anyone else.
Okay, sir. I'm aware of your concern, and I'll.
There's absolutely no reason for them to be carrying that type of armament on that bridge with students and pedestrians walking up and down like that. There's absolutely no reason for that.
Okay, I'll let the sergeants and the officers know again. I'll have them aware of the issues again.
All right, thank you.
So this guy, first of all, wouldn't take no for an answer, but I find it very telling. His one comment that said, "I don't feel safe, and I don't think that anybody else should feel safe either." Right? That gives us an idea of the mentality of the anti-gunners, of how you should be feeling and how I should be feeling about our rights. And he says this isn't normal. But look, if it becomes normal, it becomes normal, right? So tell me, I explained why I'm leading this march. I expect about 300 people open carrying 5 miles to the shooting range to exercise our rights, to tell the government to back off the gun control if Biden gets elected, and tell the terrorists and criminals to go away. But, tell me why it is that you do this. You do this often, pretty much every weekend, right?
Yeah, yeah, as much as I can. I still have family life, baby life freaking comes first. But yeah, whenever I can just go out for 2 to 3 hours, and and I try to go everywhere in the state. It's not just, I don't go around my hometown. I try to go in every location that I can possibly find, and that's the part about making it normal. And through when I started this, I had 700 subscribers. And that was it. And then one day I wake up and today we're at 50,000, and it's reached people. There's other people that are actually going out doing this by themselves without the group, because they're in the same motion, is that they're getting sick and tired of the government overreaching. And it's one of those things that if we don't stand up together, whether you agree with open carry or not, I carry how you want to carry, but the government, hey, stop. It's that cat. The government's just overreaching, and especially if Biden gets in and Kamala, like, they got a whole team of people ready to friggin' start writing up and drafting whatever they feel like to get rid of guns. Even right now, what the ATF just drafted up about the Q from the honey badger from Q. That thing's an SBR now. Just imagine the probably millions of people that have them that just lost them in a tragic boating accident. Where are we at? They're going to try to go door to door. I guarantee it. They're going to get all the forms or whatever, and it's garbage.
it's interesting. It's interesting that you say door to door. A lot of people say, how is Biden going to, or Harris, how are they going to go door to door? That would be impossible in America. So what I've just done on the fly, this was not planned, Solo and I didn't plan this, but I'm going to play a quick clip here about a situation where the government did go door to door. Take a look.
No one will be able to be armed. We will take all weapons.
It was a human drama with emotions and tensions running high. Patty Connie is still trying to recover physically and emotionally.
They really did a number on me.
From the day police forced her from her home.
It was traumatic. All of a sudden, they were banging on the front door, the side door, and the back door, and they said, "Let us in."
Patty tried to explain. She was on dry land, she had plenty of food and water, and didn't want to abandon her dogs. But it didn't matter.
If you see 6 or 8 police that look like linebackers pushing you in a corner, you're in shock. I'm saying, look at all my food. I got plenty of food. They kept pushing me back, and ended up like this.
Then, Patty showed them a small revolver she was carefully holding in the palm of her hand. A camera crew was there to capture what unfolded next.
I said, "It's not even loaded." And I dropped it on the floor. Well, they punched me in the face. Look at my black and blue marks. Look at what they did to me. They dragged me out of here.
She goes on to say, "I really thought that they were going to kill me." Look, a lot of people say, this will never happen in the country, right? But America has a unquenchable thirst for guys like you and I that are out there, standing up for our rights. That just naturally there are people in power and control that don't want us to do that, and this is a solid evidence of the cops going door to door. I think that that's a lot of the reason that we do what we do is, number one, to inspire others. And those of you at home, if you agree with being part of that inspiration, hit the thumbs up button and make sure you share this video. But number two, we not only want to inspire, but we want to educate people that whether it's a stop where we are doing nothing wrong, we don't have to surrender ID, or, the fact that we can open carry in certain situations in Florida. I think that's a lot of the reason that we do what we do. Do you agree? Oh, looks like you're frozen, brother. I don't know how long you've been frozen for, but when you come back, we'll get to you.
Oh, absolutely.
There you go. Oh, good.
No, I've been hearing you.
No, you're good.
I'm back.
He came back for a second. Oh, there you are. We got you.
Bullshit.
We got you.
All right. Yeah, no, even if you really think about red flag laws, that's just another way. That was one of my concerns when I first started doing this was, they were talking about red flag, but other than like all of 2019, just because of my activism and having guns and carrying and doing what I do, those were thoughts in my head is like, oh, Mom's Demand Action is going to be like, saying some crazy stuff and, and they show up. And then those are things that to be worried about people. I mean, like, things are up in the air right now. I mean, and it's better to let the government know that you're expressing your grievances about what they're doing and doing it in a better manner than that one group, knuckleheads for all cowards or something. I can't remember their acronyms, but they're a bunch of idiots. And like, I've had groups of 50 to close to 100 people, 200 people, and nothing ever happens. And it goes off, with everybody smiling and having a great time and feeling great about what they did, and that's what I'm sure every time you do these things on your side too, you're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, is, it's that feeling of freedom. I say it all the time. I'm like, you're free at this point. You don't have the government control, but I have government control because I got to have a fishing license. But, I'm pretty much free at that point, other than I can't go into a store or I can't do this or, you know, but whatever.
I got to tell you, you know, when we're walking in these marches and you've got, you know, 50, 100, 200, 300 people around you that are open carrying firearms and exercising their rights, the sense of freedom that you get in that moment for that 5 mile march and the heat and the sweat, it is unlike anything I've experienced before.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. You know, the longest kind of, I won't say march, it was just a walk, but the longest walk I took was about 1.5 miles through some pretty cool areas where I ran into people, and they're like, you know, and that's what I enjoy most is the interaction with the people. If anybody on my channel watches it, they don't run for fear. You know, you might see a couple that are like, you know, a little squeamish, but I've never had an instance where they scream, "Oh my gosh!" They have never had.
Yeah.
Never happened ever.
No, they just call.
You know, I've seen people get up and leave. You know, and that's respectable. You didn't yell at us. You didn't scream at us. You just, I don't feel comfortable. Yeah. Right after they left.
Right. Exactly. Well, listen, I want to personally invite you up to my march.
Things have changed for open carry.
And I think that guys like you and I are responsible for that.
The 24th, right?
Yeah, it's on the 24th. So October 24th, though, everybody watching, you know, the reason to go live is to talk about the law, to, you know, show you another guy that's living this and breathing this. It is going to be legal. It is going to be safe. You know, you don't have to worry about law enforcement, you know, Secret Service. I guess Solo sometimes does, but you don't have to worry about Secret Service, law enforcement, anything, you know, interacting or being negative. It's going to be an excellent march on October 24th. Solo, I definitely want you there. And those of you who have been following Solo for a long time, you know, make sure you come up to this march and march alongside him. You know, if you've only done 1.5 miles, though, 5 miles in full gear is pretty tough.
Dude, I wear sandals, shorts, and a t-shirt, bro. Forget all the vest and all that stuff, man. You know, we're probably the safest spot that day in that whole county. County. So I ain't concerned.
Yeah, it is. Well, Solo, thank you for joining me tonight. Those of you who want to get in touch with Solo, go subscribe. Go on YouTube and type in Solo Yacker, just as it sounds. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow him. He's a wonderful patriot doing some great things and advancing the Second Amendment and open carry in Florida. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. And to all your fans and everybody, this will get reposted, and we're gonna have a good day. That's what it's about, is meeting your fellow patriots. And if you get what I mean, they're the ones going to be elbow to elbow with you. You know, we're going to all be in the trenches if it goes that way, you know.
You know, and there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there. Those keyboard warriors, I'm going to tell you this. If you don't show up to that march, my one phrase is this: everybody's a patriot until it's time to do patriot shit.
Yeah. Copy that, man.
Well, great to see you. Thanks for coming, man.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, man.
You too.